Once you see it, you
Yeah.
can't unsee it.
Yeah.
Once you know better, you do better.
Right.
One of my best friends says that all the time, and I know better.
Yeah.
Now I know better.
Right.
And I can thank you
I
for making
appreciate
sure that we knew better. And
Well, I'm here today with my good friend Tiffany Izenour of Freedom. Tiffany, you and I have known one another for a long time,
very long.
right? Tell us a little bit about your real estate journey so people get to know you a little bit more.
Oh, goodness. Hi, I'm Tiffany Izenour. I started in real estate after almost 10 years in banking and really just fell into it. Had zero idea or motivation to be an entrepreneur, to be in real estate. But it was a right place, right time, right opportunity. And partnered with Freedom Property Management at the time, and it just clicked.
Yeah.
It clicked. Initially came in to help on the operational side and the bookkeeping side of things, and property management and real estate just came easy.
Why do you think that is for property management?
Oh, gosh. So having the banking and the risk management background, that lent very well to property management, because property management is all about solving problems, and it's evaluating risk, and it's reducing liability for your landlords. And so that, plus the operational side of task management and project management,
Right.
that's exactly what we do with property management. And property management is really just a longer term version of your sales cycle on real estate. So being able to manage those expectations and manage those client relationships really lent really well to both sides of it.
Tiffany is one of the most involved people in our industry on a local level when it comes to property management. Sincerely, I'm not saying this because we would interview, we know one another. If there's a class being taught about anything property management, or if there's people fighting on the Hill in Richmond, to protect, pertinent things to property management in the industry, Tiffany is your girl. She's the one always spearheading the effort. So you went down this path, right, in real estate, right? Initially down property management. Obviously, you still do a lot of that today, but at some point, you may have gotten tired of referring out a piece of business, right?
Right.
To maybe somebody like me. It was never me, but to somebody, right? And you probably said to yourself, as many agents do, right? Like, maybe I can take care of that piece of business also. So what was that transition like for you?
So I actually got my full real estate license after about a year in, and so that was 2012, 2013. And always focused on the property management side of things. But in Virginia, you have to be a fully licensed realtor to operate property management. And so we would do a little bit of sales here and there, more so just for our landlord clients as a way to keep it in-house. But there wasn't a whole lot of marketing of that. Right. And we would hold our sales license with an outside brokerage. So Freedom just did property management, which was a great focus. And then we could say to you, our realtor colleagues, hey, I only do property management, so refer your clients to me. Markets changed, and we found the opportunity and really the value in having it all in-house. Because I always looked at it as a one-stop shop anyway.
Of course.
But we were missing out on a lot of opportunity with our landlord clients and our tenants, because we didn't have sales as a part of our business.
Right.
As a part of our business model. And so I did roll full sales into Freedom in 2021, I believe it was, during the COVID mess. And that worked really well. But doing full sales brokerage and property management brokerage all under one house, right, with an expanded team of realtors, because once we made this change,
That's right,
I had an influx of agents say, hey, I want to come work for you.
That's right.
Which initially is an incredible honor. And it is. It's still an incredible honor.
It is.
But it's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of additional work, and it's a lot of additional responsibility.
Right. It just makes sense, right? Like, the number one reason why anybody selects a real estate agent, I don't care if it's property management, I don't care if it's in sales, it's trust. It's trust. And if people saw that trust in you to manage the most expensive, probably the most expensive, the largest asset that
Biggest
somebody would
investment, yeah.
own, right? That they would own, and they're trusting you to manage that for them. Some people don't live in the same state. They may not even live in this country, and the amount of trust that somebody has to have in you to property manage their biggest asset, right?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they want to also trust that same trusted individual to sell that asset when they decide that they're ready?
So true.
Right. And so that was the aha moment for you to start, leaning in on that too. And now today you're running a full service brokerage.
I am running a full service brokerage.
And what does that look like? Agents and staff?
So our agents, we have dwindled down because we are making a switch, which we'll talk about here in a minute.
Sure.
But my property management staff is absolutely incredible. I have a full-time boots on the ground property manager here, Tracy Terry. We have 3 global team members that support us, and then we have 5 realtors, sorry, on our team. One of which has already made the switch over, and the other 4 are still in limbo.
So let's talk about this switch. I recently had to go through this myself, right? I'm a 20-year independent boutique broker, right? And I loved every minute of it. I really did. But for me, I think you always have, as a leader, right, and you're leading people and you're leading some of those people and their families, right, to always benchmark what's going on in the industry and be able to see ahead of the curves. And my aha moment was, hey, there's probably a better way, right? And there's probably something better for my agents. I no longer can probably tell them that I'm the best fit for anybody. And just seeing where the industry was heading. I myself, after being an independent boutique broker for the better part of 2 decades, right, had a very large decision to make. And it was one that I think when you all kind of see it, you know what I mean? It gives you a little bit of pause. And of course, for me, at least I can speak for myself, it's ego, right? It's like, I built this with my own bare hands and, and blood, sweat, tears and the sleepless nights. But when I realized that I may not be fully letting go of my identity, that I was just enhancing, what I already provided for my buyers and sellers and for my agents and their families, I couldn't unsee it, right? And it kept me up. And, so I went down this journey, and it's a journey that I think that I see you and many others in our marketplace, maybe in the near future, going through also. So tell us about your decision and how you arrived at, your decision to kind of transition maybe from being an independent boutique, what that meant, and kind of the process you went through.
Sure. So I've always said that if I was going to work for another brokerage, that it would be with Scott.
Oh, really?
If I wasn't going to do my own thing,
right,
then I would be doing it with you. And I am so excited that we've split our sales division off with Freedom and moved the Freedom Real Estate team to LPT Realty. We're rolling this out kind of slowly with respect to our current team, with giving them the opportunities to see the LPT value.
Absolutely.
And Freedom Property Management is still completely staying in place. One of the things that I love about the opportunity with LPT is we get to maintain our own identity.
Yeah.
We're not being lost
in
a different brand.
Yeah.
And so I have the best of both worlds. Yeah. I'm still able to operate. I'm still able to tell all of my clients and all of my agents that we're there for them, that it's still the same Freedom quality. It's our branding. It's our commitment to quality. But we're backed by the incredible team and the incredible resources that LPT's put together.
Yeah.
I have just scratched the surface, and it's absolutely wonderful. And like you had said, Scott, providing this, once you see it, You can't unsee it.
Yeah.
Once you know better, you do better.
Right.
One of my best friends says that all the time, and I know better.
Yeah.
Now I know better,
Right.
and I can thank you for making sure that we knew better, and the opportunity that's there for my agents,
Yeah.
the opportunity that's there for myself and for our landlord clients and tenants,
Right.
means that we're able to provide them with the best that
Absolutely.
our market has to
Yeah.
offer, not just now, but with the craziness that's
Right.
ahead of us.
Right.
So,
I mean, 7-8 years ago, somebody said maybe something like EXP, and we say, "What is that?" Right? And maybe some of
Like
the same things
cloud-based
people are saying.
brokerage? What?
People are saying, "Hey, Scott, like LPT, what is that?" And I said, "I get it." I said, "It stands for Listing Power Tools, so it stands for Listing Power Tools." And what I like is, I love being surrounded by other like-minded individuals. So I appreciate you saying that, because I always felt the same way. If there was ever any way where I could align with you and some others in our marketplace, I would love to do that. But the value proposition was always off, right? So with LPT, you got a serial entrepreneur, right? And Robert Palmer, who's a billionaire, right? Who's a billionaire and who has entirely self-funded this brokerage, with no outside investors and zero debt on it. And I just believe that when the financials are released, when they do IPO, it's going to absolutely put the industry on its ear, because for the first time, we're going to see really how lean a cloud-based brokerage can run. And my epiphany was, at some point, all of us will probably gravitate to a cloud-based brokerage platform, right? So then you have to see which each one is offering. And, I really felt always we were offering the best for our agents, but I could never show them a way to monetize their relationships. And certainly if they ever wanted to own stock in Jacobs and Company, I could never provide that. We're not publicly traded, but through this we can, and there's just so many amazing things about the company. The marketing materials, the guy owns a $20 million print shop. We get things at cost or shipping cost only. I mean, phenomenal. And just, the thing is, as an independent boutique, you're small. You don't have large economies of scale. So it becomes more problematic and more difficult to maybe acquire that next piece of tech, or, to move fast towards this new thing that is going to definitely give your business some lift. And they provide all of that, and more. I just think they're constantly innovating, and it's become the fastest growing real estate brokerage in U.S. history. I mean, today, over 12,000 agents in like 2 years. It's fairly phenomenal. And I think that my gut tells me that they'll probably overtake them all in time. Now, what were your initial reservations as independent boutique and looking at going this route, right? Because it's a lot, right?
So initial reservation, biggest concern was losing our branding, losing our voice, losing our vision, our image in the very, very large ocean of agents. Yeah. And so the ability to maintain just our colors, our logos, our everything, and LPT just is just the period at the end of our brand. And it has made that part of my concern just go away completely. And most of the agents that were with us at Freedom, again, much smaller than yours, boutique brokerage, and kind of no frills. It was, low cost for our agents. Not a whole lot of tech. They didn't want a whole lot of tech. They, a little more old school.
Sure.
And when looking at LPT, I see everything that you just mentioned with the tech and the marketing and the resource and the innovation. But then I also see how simple it can be.
Yeah. One of the things somebody said to me a long time ago was Tom Ferry, and he looked me in the eye and he says, Scott, you're playing this all way too small. And I thought I was like really doing something at the time, but I thought about that, and I thought about it again when this was, kind of propositioned. And I said, I'm thinking small. I'm thinking Northern Virginia, right? I'm thinking Virginia. But I've got agents that work with me that want to do deals in DC, Maryland, West Virginia, North Carolina, Florida. Well, I can't do that. Well, maybe I can. I have to get licensed in all those areas. I have to pay all those fees and subscriptions. Now with a company that's not just thinking all across America, but they're thinking globally, right? Like, how cool would it be to be able to refer a deal to a partner in Spain, or and it gets you thinking bigger. And I think that that is certainly some of the blindfold that came off for me. That today I'm thinking about as they are expanding into, their 28th state, their 30th state, and pretty soon we'll be in Canada, and it's just going to go that way. But how do you think your move reflects the broader trends that are ahead in real estate?
Oh, um, to be completely honest, I am a total property management nerd. And so I followed that like it's nobody's business. But you don't have to be at the front end of everything to know what's going on in the real estate world right now. And there's a lot of chaos. There's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of misinformation. And us making this decision to take our real estate team to LPT is really indicative of our commitment to serving our listings and our buyers with the absolute best possible. The craziness that I see here over the next year or so is really built out of confusion.
Right.
And so while there's so much confusion, LPT has got it in the bag.
Right.
The marketing, the tools, the information has been there all along.
Right.
And so it's not a huge educational curve. It's not a big learning curve for all of us that I've seen that have either made the move over or have been in LPT. Like we're already doing what we're supposed to be doing.
Mine was, these few sleepless nights, and I say few, they were more than a few, but when these lawsuits started coming about, right?
Yes,
and
yeah.
I'm sitting here thinking, I'm this little independent boutique guy, and I run a good business. I built a good business, and the realization I had that it could all be taken away from me for doing nothing other than what I was always taught and trained to do. And if I did X, Y, and Z, I'm an ethical agent realtor. But for the same reasons that I was told that if I did X, Y, and Z, I'm an ethical agent, I could have also walked into my office one day into a $3 to $5 million lawsuit. And that was so, we have great staff, and I would like to say that we were compliant. But compliance is definitely at the forefront of everything that we're doing now, and certainly will be doing in the future in real estate. And why do we want to burden ourselves and take all of that additional stress on as a broker owner when you have somebody like an LPT where they can take care of that and handle that piece?
Right. Doing property management, there's enough liability, enough risk on my shoulders there. And I love the real estate industry, but I geek out over the property management side of things. I know that if someone comes to me and asks me a question, I've got it.
Right.
Now, if one of my agents comes to me on a sales transaction, I'm having to do a little more research. I'm not as confident right off the cuff.
Right.
And that with, as the lawsuits start coming out, I'm like, that's just not, that's not an additional risk that I want to put on my family.
Right. Right.
And on my agents and their livelihoods. So the decision to make a move was impending.
Right.
And it was just a matter of how do we make that move?
Right.
And where do we move to?
What would you say to the average agent, right? That could be a newly licensed agent. That could be an agent that's 5-10 years in the business, and maybe they're at one of these larger big box brick and mortar, more traditional type of real estate offices. Maybe like I said, the ink's drying on their license. What would you say to them that might have them look at an opportunity like LPT versus maybe what they're just accustomed to?
I'm a firm believer that you get out of it what you put into it.
Yes.
No one is going to come and grab your hand and walk you along every step of the process.
Right.
You're going to have some brokerages that have great mentorship programs.
Yep.
They have a variety of bells and whistles. They're going to lure you in with rainmaker teams. They're going to lure you in with all sorts of incentives that they're going to provide you leads, and they're going to do this and they're going to do that. They're all the same. And, you know, they all have really great agents and really great brokers.
Right.
But having a brokerage that you're aligned with,
Right.
that is simple to work with, that has simple commission structures, that values the focus on real estate, not the focus on all the other stuff.
Right. Not to
focus on
promote the
real estate.
Instagram model that just wants to recruit agents.
Right,
Right.
right. And
I would make a horrible Instagram model, by the way.
you know, yes, a LPT has the opportunities for you to have stock and to have, you know, some residual income. But at the end of the day, it's real estate focused.
Right.
Everything that we do, all of the tools, all the technology is to make you be a better realtor.
Absolutely.
And so if that's what your focus is, if you want to be the best realtor,
Absolutely.
then LPT and the resources that we have,
Right.
there's no better place for you. Whether you want to be super simple or you want to use all the tech available.
What I always say is like that test that we all have to take, learning terms and definitions, that prepares us to pass a national portion and a state portion of the test. It by no means teaches you how to be an effective realtor.
Oh yeah, it's basically
Right.
going through kindergarten.
You have to learn by doing this. And
Yes.
I think so many different brokerages that I've seen, you might have somebody who's the broker manager and they've been in that role for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. To which point, when was the last time they sold something? And I think that there's some sense of being out of touch with their agents and the industry and the trends and the things that are really going on, boots on the ground. I'm in the trenches, never in an effort to compete against one of my agents, but so that I know real time what they're going through. Because this is what I discussed with you briefly before we started this interview. I said, Tiffany, I think this industry has changed more in the last 3 years than it has in the previous 20 that I've been involved in this industry.
COVID amplified and accelerated
Right.
the, you know, everything with this industry, from pricing to technology
Right.
to just overall mindset.
Right.
I don't disagree with you on that.
Yeah, I don't know about you. I think we're going to continue to evolve, right? You know, our industry is going to continue to evolve, and now more than ever, it's probably increasingly more important. Who you align yourself with matters, right? It does. It matters because I know what kind of leader you are. I know if an agent comes to you, it's not just going to be like, well, here's some online training, right? No, shadow me, right? Let me show you how I do it, right? Like real training. And that's setting an agent up for real success, right? And that's just different than the trial by fire and just giving into the 85+% of new agents, you know, fail after the first 2 years in the industry. That's a horrible statistic, by the way, you know? And I just think that when people choose to align themselves with somebody like you as their mentor and their leader, their team leader, right, you know, that they're going to have a much greater success rate than the average agent would in this industry, right?
I would hope so,
Yeah,
especially
I know so.
especially if they're interested in looking at, you know, the full picture for their clients. They're not just pigeonholed or into, all right, well, you said you want to sell your house, so let's sell your house.
Right.
That may not be the best move for everybody. It may not be the right time for you to buy a house. It may not be the right time for you to sell a house.
Right.
So it's being aligned with agents that are going to look out for what's best
Right.
for their clients, what's best for their friends, what's best for their families. And with Freedom Property Management and the team that we've got at LPT, that's what we do.
Yeah.
Is making sure that we're looking out for not only you now, but also what's coming up down the road.
The thing I think agents need to know, right, is this is not a one-size-fits-all. There's something for everybody. And I think that's where other models might have had it incorrect, right? That not everybody fits into this box, right? So whether or not the most important thing to you is to just, you know, get to 100% as fast as possible, $5,000 cap. I can't find anything better, right?
Right.
And if you're an agent that wants to lead your own team or monetize your downline, you know what I mean? Still best in the industry, especially when you consider all of the other features that are included in this. And they just keep getting added to, I feel like, on a weekly basis. Tiffany, if one of the agents that is watching this video, whether or not the ink's drying or they're studying to prepare, or like I said, they've been in it 15 years, 5 years, 10 years, what do you want to tell them, and how would they reach out to you?
So you can find us on every social platform. Again, Tiffany Izenour, Freedom Property Management, and the Freedom Real Estate team at LPT Realty. If you are looking for a home, if you're looking for a place to do business with like-minded agents who have a commitment to the community, who have a commitment to doing right by their clients, and really enjoy having all of the tech and tools available for you, then any of us with LPT, especially my team, will be most happy to chat with you and see if it's a right fit.
Get a phone number for them?
Yes. Our office is 703-330-1776. Website freedompm.com. And again, you can find me on pretty much every social platform as well. Izenour, Izenour.
And we're going to link all the contact details to Tiffany below and with this post. Tiffany, I mean, it's an honor for me, right? Like we have sat down, we've sat down before and tried to figure out how we would make this work. And I know that you're kind of just getting started in this journey with LPT. But I'm as happy as I could be about being able to align myself with people like you in our local marketplace. So many times, right? These larger companies, right? Like you don't have the same continuity and the same, kind of ability to reach out because we might be competing on a transaction here and there. This brings us all into alignment with one another. And I mean, just to be in alignment with you, with everything that you've done through property management and that you're doing through sales, it's awesome. And I know that it's a foundation that LPT's going to build upon here in our local marketplace. And I can't wait to watch your growth. It's going to be awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for agreeing to do this. And guys, if you want to be on an amazing team, right? And with an amazing leader, sincerely, you need to reach out to Tiffany, right? She's going to get you pointed in the right direction and make sure that you're set up for success in this industry long term. Thanks, Scott.
Thanks,
I appreciate you. Thank you so much.